Travis Holcomb had been running combines for 6 seasons when he took the Montana job. He was 28 years old, lean and quiet, the kind of guy who showed up on time, did the work, and didn't complain. He worked for a custom harvesting crew out of Kansas called Redline Ag Services. They ran a fleet of 8 combines, 4 grain carts, and 6 semis, and they followed the wheat harvest from Texas to Canada every summer. The crew was good, professional. They moved fast, hit their deadlines, and got paid well for it. Travis had worked every harvest since 2017, and he had a reputation. He could run a combine for 16 hours without losing focus. He didn't get rattled, he didn't make mistakes, he was the kind of operator the crew boss put on the biggest machines and the tightest schedules. Travis was reliable. That was his value. That was why he was chosen for the Montana contract. The contract came in late July. A wheat operation outside of Shelby, Montana, 12,000 acres. The client was a corporate farm management group that owned land across 3 states. They didn't care about relationships. They cared about numbers. The wheat was ready. The weather window was tight. They wanted the entire operation harvested in 5 days. If Redline hit the deadline, they would get a $40,000 bonus on top of the contract price. If they missed it, they would forfeit 10% of the base fee. The crew boss, a man named Dale Pruitt, took the job. He knew it was aggressive. He knew it would require running the machines around the clock. But $40,000 was $40,000, and Redline had never missed a contract deadline. Dale called a meeting the night before they started. He laid out the schedule: 3 shifts, 8-hour rotations, no downtime, no breakdowns, no excuses. He looked at Travis and said he was putting him on the Massey Ferguson 9505. It was the biggest combine in the fleet, 507 horsepower, 40-foot header, self-leveling. It could cut 60 acres an hour in good conditions. Dale said he needed Travis to anchor the first shift and set the pace. Travis nodded. He said he was ready. The first day started at 4 a.m. Travis climbed into the cab of the Massey Ferguson while it was still dark. The machine was massive. The cab sat 12 feet off the ground. The header stretched out in front of him like the wing of a plane. He fired up the engine. The sound was deep, mechanical, powerful. He pulled out of the staging area and drove to the first field. The wheat was thick, golden, dry, perfect cutting conditions. He dropped the header, engaged the reel, and started moving. The Massey Ferguson ate through the rows. The grain poured into the tank. The GPS tracked his progress. The cab was quiet, insulated, air-conditioned. The seat was comfortable. The controls were responsive. Everything was working. Travis settled into the rhythm. He had done this 1,000 times. Cut, turn, unload, repeat. The hours passed. The sun came up. The temperature climbed into the 90s. Travis didn't stop. He radioed the grain cart when his tank was full. They pulled up alongside him, matched his speed, and took the grain while he kept cutting. No downtime, no breaks, just continuous forward motion. By hour 8, Travis had cut 480 acres. He was ahead of schedule. Dale radioed and told him to keep going. They were swapping operators at the staging area, but Travis was running clean, and Dale didn't want to lose momentum. Travis said he could go another shift. Dale said good. Travis kept cutting. By hour 12, the sun was setting. The temperature dropped. The air cooled. Travis turned on the cab lights. The header lights lit up the field in front of him. The wheat kept coming. The machine kept running. His eyes were tired, but his hands were steady. He drank water from a jug he kept in the cab. He ate a sandwich without stopping the combine. He urinated into a bottle because climbing down would waste time. This was the job. This was what they paid him for. He kept going. By hour 16, it was midnight. Travis had been in the cab for 12 hours straight. The other operators had rotated twice. Travis had not. Dale radioed and asked if he needed relief. Travis said no. He said he was fine. He said the machine was running perfect, and he didn't want to break the flow. Dale said okay. He said to keep pushing. Travis did. The stars were out. The field was dark except for the lights on the combine. The sound of the header cutting wheat was constant, the rhythmic, almost hypnotic. Travis's body was on autopilot. His hands moved without thinking. His eyes tracked the rows. His mind was somewhere else. He wasn't tired. He wasn't awake. He was in between. He was in the zone, and the Massey Ferguson kept running. By hour 20, the sun came up again. Travis had been operating for 16 hours without leaving the cab. He had cut over 900 acres. Dale radioed and said he was a machine. Travis didn't respond, he just kept cutting. The heat returned. The cab temperature climbed. Travis turned the air conditioning to full blast. His eyes were dry, his back ached, his hands were stiff on the controls. But he didn't stop. The contract deadline was ticking. The crew was counting on him. The Massey Ferguson was still running flawlessly. The engine never hesitated. The header never jammed. The grain kept flowing. Travis kept moving. He passed the 24-hour mark without acknowledging it. One full day in the cab, no sleep, no real rest, just wheat and machine and forward motion. By hour 28, the other crew members started noticing something was off. Travis wasn't responding to the radio as quickly. His turns at the end of the rows were slightly wider than they should be. His speed was consistent, but his tone on the radio was flat, monotone. Dale radioed and told him to come in for a break. Travis said he was fine. Dale said it wasn't a request. Travis said he would finish the field first. Dale let it go. 2 hours later, Travis radioed and said he was ready to refuel. He brought the combine back to the staging area. He climbed down from the cab. His legs were shaky. His face was pale. One of the crew members asked if he was okay. Travis said he was fine. He drank a bottle of Gatorade in 3 long pulls. He ate a protein bar. He stood there for 10 minutes, staring at the ground, not saying anything. Then he climbed back into the cab and drove back to the field. Dale watched him go. He told the crew to keep an eye on him. Travis didn't hear that. He was already gone. By hour 35, Travis had been awake for more than a day and a half. He had cut over 1,500 acres. The other combines in the fleet had rotated operators every 8 hours. Travis had not rotated once. He was still in the cab of the Massey Ferguson, still cutting, still moving. His vision was starting to blur at the edges. He would blink and lose a second. He would focus and the rows would snap back into clarity. He wasn't hallucinating, not yet. But his brain was starting to misfire. He would see movement in his peripheral vision and turn his head, but nothing would be there. He would hear voices on the radio that weren't actually speaking. He would look at the GPS screen and the numbers would take a moment to make sense. But he kept going. The machine didn't care if he was tired. The machine didn't need rest. The machine just needed fuel and forward motion, and Travis could provide that. He had always been able to provide that. By hour 40, something shifted. Travis was cutting a section of field near the northern boundary. The sun was setting again. The light was orange and low. The wheat cast long shadows. Travis looked out through the windshield and saw something move in the grain ahead of him. Not wind, not an animal. A shape, upright, human-sized. It was there for a second, then gone. Travis blinked. He slowed the combine. He stared at the spot where he had seen it. Nothing, just wheat. He shook his head. He sped back up. He kept cutting. 5 minutes later, he saw it again, this time on the left side of the header. A dark shape moving parallel to the combine just inside the standing wheat. Travis turned his head to look directly at it. It vanished. He stopped the combine. He sat there, engine idling, staring at the field. The radio crackled. Dale asked if he was okay. Travis didn't answer right away. Then he said he thought he saw something. Dale asked what. Travis said he didn't know. Dale told him to keep moving. Travis engaged the header and started cutting again. By hour 43, the shapes were more frequent. Travis would see them in the rearview mirrors. He would see them in the grain dust behind the combine. He would see them standing at the edge of the field, just outside the range of the lights. Every time he looked directly at them, they disappeared. Every time he looked away, they reappeared. He stopped radioing the crew. He stopped responding unless someone called him directly. His hands gripped the steering wheel harder than necessary. His jaw was clenched. His breathing was shallow. He knew what was happening. He had heard stories from other operators: sleep deprivation, visual hallucinations, the brain filling in gaps with patterns that weren't there. He knew it wasn't real, but knowing didn't make it stop. The shapes kept appearing, and the Massey Ferguson kept running. By hour 46, Travis was cutting a long straight section near the center of the remaining acreage. It was 2 a.m. The field was silent except for the sound of the combine. The stars were bright. The air was cold. Travis looked up from the controls and saw someone standing in the field directly ahead of him. Not a shape, not a shadow, a person. Clear, solid, standing in the wheat facing the combine, arms at their sides. Travis slowed down. The figure didn't move. Travis stopped the combine completely. He stared at the figure. It was a man, tall, wearing dark clothes, no hat, no visible features, just a silhouette. The man raised one arm, slowly, deliberately. He was waving, not frantically, not in distress, just waving, like he was trying to get Travis's attention, like he wanted Travis to stop. Travis picked up the radio. His hand was shaking. He pressed the button. He said there was someone in the field. Dale responded immediately. He asked where. Travis said directly in front of him, maybe 50 yards out. Dale asked if it was an animal. Travis said no. He said it was a person. Dale said, hold on. He pulled up the GPS tracking screen. He could see Travis's combine. He could see the rest of the fleet. He could see the grain carts and the trucks. There was no one else in that field. Dale radioed back and said there was nobody out there. Travis didn't respond. He was still staring at the figure. The man was still waving. Travis set the radio down. He opened the cab door. The cold air hit him. He climbed down from the combine. His legs almost gave out. He caught himself on the ladder. He stood on the ground and looked at the field. The figure was still there, still waving. Travis started walking toward it. He didn't know why. He just started walking. The wheat was waist high. It brushed against his legs as he moved. The combine lights lit up the area behind him. Ahead, the field was darker. He kept walking. The figure didn't move. Travis called out. He said, hey, no response. He said it louder. Nothing. He kept walking. The figure was maybe 30 yards away now. Travis could see more detail. The dark clothes, the shape of the shoulders, the stillness. He called out again. He said, who are you? The figure lowered its arm, and then it turned. It turned and started walking away, deeper into the wheat. Travis followed. He didn't think about it. He just followed. The figure moved slowly, steadily, not looking back. Travis walked faster. He was 20 yards behind it, then 15, then 10. The figure kept walking. Travis was breathing hard now. His chest was tight. He called out again. The figure didn't stop. Travis broke into a jog. The wheat slapped against his legs. He was 5 yards behind it. He reached out his hand, and then the figure was gone. Travis stopped. He stood in the middle of the field, surrounded by wheat, breathing hard, staring at nothing. The figure had vanished. No movement, no sound, just gone. Travis turned in a circle. He looked back toward the combine. The lights were far away now. He had walked farther than he thought. He looked around the field. He was alone, completely alone. The sky was black, the stars were too bright, the air was too cold. Travis felt his legs go weak. He sat down in the wheat. He sat there and stared at the ground. He didn't know how long he sat there. Could have been minutes. Could have been an hour. Eventually, his radio crackled. It was Dale. He was shouting. He was asking where Travis was. Travis picked up the radio. He said he was in the field. Dale said they had been trying to reach him for 2 hours. Travis looked at his watch. It was 4 a.m. He had lost 2 hours. He didn't remember losing them. He stood up. His legs were shaking. He started walking back toward the combine. The crew found him an hour later. He was a mile from the Massey Ferguson, walking in the wrong direction. 2 crew members drove out in a pickup truck and found him stumbling through the wheat. He was conscious but unresponsive. They loaded him into the truck and drove him back to the staging area. Dale called an ambulance. Travis was taken to a hospital in Shelby. The doctors said he was severely dehydrated and sleep-deprived. They said his body had been running on adrenaline and stimulants for too long. They said he was lucky he didn't collapse in the field and die of exposure. They kept him overnight. Dale visited him the next morning. Travis was awake, sitting up in bed, staring at the wall. Dale asked what happened out there. Travis didn't answer for a long time. Then he said he saw someone. Dale said there was nobody out there. Travis said he knew that. But he saw someone anyway. Dale didn't push it. He said the crew finished the contract. They hit the deadline. They got the bonus. Travis nodded. He said that was good. Dale asked if he wanted to come back for the next job. Travis said no. He said he was done. Travis left the hospital the next day. He drove back to Kansas. He didn't talk to anyone in the crew. He didn't return Dale's calls. He didn't go back to custom harvesting. He got a job at a co-op, working the grain elevator. He worked inside, regular hours, no machines, no fields. People who knew him said he wasn't the same. He was quieter, more withdrawn. He didn't talk about the Montana job. If someone asked, he would say it didn't work out. If they pushed, he would walk away. One night, 6 months later, a guy from the old crew ran into him at a bar. The guy asked what really happened out there. Travis had been drinking. He looked at the guy for a long time. Then he said the Massey Ferguson kept running after he stopped. He said the machine didn't care if he was braking. It just kept going. And something in the field knew that. Something was waiting for him to brake all the way. The guy didn't know what to say. Travis finished his drink and left. The Massey Ferguson 9505 is still in service. Redline Ag still runs it every season. Different operators, same machine. It has over 4,000 hours on it now. It runs perfectly, no mechanical issues, no breakdowns. The crew boss rotates operators every 8 hours now. He doesn't let anyone go past 12. He learned that lesson. But sometimes late at night, when the machine is running under the lights and the operator is alone in the cab, they report seeing things. Shapes in the grain, shadows in the dust, movement where there shouldn't be movement. Most of them don't mention it. They just finish their shift and climb down. But some of them ask to be rotated off that machine. They say it feels wrong. They say something about the cab makes them uneasy. Dale never asks why. He just moves them to a different combine. He knows what they mean. He has heard the stories. He has heard what Travis saw. And even though he doesn't believe in ghosts or hallucinations or whatever it was that walked through that field in Montana, he knows one thing for certain. The Massey Ferguson 9505 ran for 47 hours straight. The machine never stopped. The machine never broke. The machine did its job. But the man inside it did stop. The man inside it did break. And whatever was out there in that field at hour 46, it knew the difference. It knew when the machine was still running and the man was already gone, and it came to see what would happen next. Travis never drove a combine again. He still works at the co-op, he still lives in Kansas, he still doesn't talk about Montana. But sometimes late at night when he's alone, he thinks about that figure in the field. He thinks about the way it waved at him, the way it turned and walked away, the way it led him deeper into the wheat, away from the machine, away from the lights, away from everything that kept him tethered to the real world. And he wonders what would have happened if the crew hadn't found him. He wonders if he would have kept walking. He wonders if he would have followed that figure all the way to wherever it was going. And he wonders if, somewhere out there, in some field in some state during some harvest, another operator is going to push too far. Another operator is going to run too long. Another operator is going to see that figure standing in the wheat, waving, waiting. And he wonders if that operator will have the sense to turn back, or if they'll do what Travis almost did, if they'll follow it, if they'll walk into the dark, if they'll disappear into the grain and never come back. The Massey Ferguson doesn't care. The machine doesn't have opinions. It doesn't have limits. It doesn't have a breaking point. It just runs. And it will keep running as long as someone is willing to sit in that cab and push the throttle forward. The machine will do its job. The machine will cut the wheat. The machine will meet the deadline. But the machine doesn't care what happens to the person inside. The machine doesn't care if they see things. The machine doesn't care if they break. The machine just keeps running. And that's the thing Travis learned. That's the thing he can't forget. The machine will always outlast the man. The machine will always keep going. And if you push too far, if you stay in that cab too long, if you run past the point where your brain can tell the difference between what's real and what's not, something will come for you. Something will step out of the wheat and wave you forward. And the only question is whether you'll have the strength to stay in the cab or whether you'll step down into the field and follow it into the dark. Travis chose to follow, and he barely made it back. The next operator might not be so lucky. The Massey Ferguson 9505 is still out there, still running, still waiting, and somewhere in some field, at some hour past the point of human endurance, someone else is going to see that figure. And the machine will keep running, and the question will be the same. Do you stay in the cab, or do you step into the wheat?